Hi there, and welcome to the Meet the Teacher presentation for Primary 1-2. I am super excited to be the Primary 1-2 teacher this year. I was the Primary 1-2 teacher last year, which was a total joy, and I'm sure this year is going to be the exact same. I am also very lucky to work with two very talented teachers, so P1 with Mrs. Brown and P2 with Miss Tumblety. I'll be working very closely with these teachers to make sure that we are collaborating on the learning for our Primary 1s and Primary 2s in Primary 1-2, and making sure we're covering the same material and that we get opportunities to engage with those children in both classes. I'm also very blessed to have Donna in the classroom, who is a wonderful support for our children, and will be working very closely with your child this year. So that's the kind of team that will be supporting your child, and we're all super enthusiastic to be working with them this year and seeing them have success on their journey. So we all know that we're a joint team supporting your child's learning, and communication is the key to making that team work efficiently. So any communication that you want to bring to me, I am more than happy to hear any concerns or any success or anything you want to share with me on behalf of your child. And there's plenty of ways that we can do that. So we can do it at the gate if it's just a quick little message to share, maybe in a letter or a note in a school bag that I can receive and act on. A phone call or email to the school office usually gets through to me as well. If you'd like a phone call home, just let me know through the office and I can give you a wee ring at the end of the day. Things like medication, appointments, holidays and pickup arrangements are a good set of things to put through the office, so you can get that sorted nice and quickly and so the office team know. We have a super new Teams page which will allow us to share all our home achievements and updates for our classroom, and also it's just a nice space to share our home learning as well. So it's a nice kind of online space that we can use and share together to keep ourselves updated on what's going on in the classroom. So our learning journals, our EPLPs, are there as well to report on children's learning. So we'll keep you up to date on the progress of your child through our electronic personal learning plans. And also I have a Twitter account at Miss Davis RPS, which you can have a wee look at as well. Most things that I post on my Twitter will probably be on the Teams page as well though, so keep your eyes on that. Please let me know if there's anything that you want to update me on, and I'll try to keep in good contact with you for anything going on in class that I feel is important to share. Thank you. So our school's relationships policy is built on a restorative approach. We want to build, maintain and repair relationships throughout the school. And we want to do that based on our 5 school values, which are respect, responsibility, care, honesty and friendship. And we want to use those values to build a curious, creative community. That's our school vision. We want to make sure that the children understand what those values mean. We want to be able to model them for the children and also help them understand how we can enact that and why we should, what makes it important. We want to teach the children about their emotions, give them a good emotional literacy and allow them to engage with their emotions each day and learn more about them. We've got a special check-in at the moment where the children use the colour monster and a little peg to peg their name onto a colour monster to show how they're feeling that day. Our restorative approach allows us to use certain questions to help restore children's relationships. On the next slide, you'll see an example of those relationships questions. And it's important that we have consequences in school. So when things go wrong, there are proportionate consequences for the behaviour that's been shown. And we can teach children what they could do next time to make a better choice. Here's an example on the right of the restorative questions we use in school. If you would like to, you can pick up an example of these questions in the office and you can use them at home to help us with our restorative approach. We believe in excellent behaviour for learning. So we want to recognise great behaviour in different ways, whether that's class rewards, using pom-poms to fill our jar for a class reward, or using house points to gain a whole house award at the end of the year, giving out stars of the week, and we also have little postcodes with just a little wee note home if we've spotted something wonderful that day that we want to share with parents at home. We always encourage children to report concerns to an adult in school, and we'd really encourage you to help your child share what's going on for them in the classroom with their teacher if anything pops up. We want children to trust adults in school and be able to share important things with them. We have made a class charter to help with our behaviour for learning and also to recognise the rights we have in the classroom and how we can help each other to achieve them. We chose 3 most important rights, which were to be safe, play and learn. We know that to gain those rights and to make sure that we achieve them as a class, we need to do certain things to help each other have the right to be safe, play and to learn. To do this, we've agreed that we will use kind words, hand and feet, with ourselves and with others. We will listen to, help and support one another. Make sure that there's space to play while we want to play and tidy up after ourselves. And share and respect our toys. This will help us to create a safe and happy learning environment. So what's life in our classroom going to look like? Well, we'll be having secret garden days on a Monday, where we can go for a little trip to the beautiful secret garden that Mrs. Brown helped to make. We'll be having PE days on a Tuesday and Thursday, and forest fun days are on a Wednesday. There's lots of opportunities for us to be outside, and so it'd be really helpful that we have an outdoor PE kit, whether it be joggers and a t-shirt, school jumper and outdoor trainers, and a bag containing wellies, outdoor boots, joggers, waterproofs to use all weathers, as learning outside is something we really enjoy in Primary 1-2. Our key motto is to be prepared. Make sure that every day your child brings a jacket with them, even if it looks dry outside. I know we've been enjoying some beautiful weather recently, but you never know. Make sure that our water bottles are filled. We'd appreciate if you didn't have juice and it was just water, and a spare change of clothes, pants, socks, trousers, and please wash and return any that's borrowed from school. We'd suggest 2 snacks for children, as we're having afternoon break as well as the morning break. 1 item of food for each break time is really sufficient, but if you think your child needs more, just bring in more, because the more energy we have for school, the better. We really try to return all children's belongings in class, and what helps with that is having everything labelled, first and second name and class if you can, and regularly check that those labels are you're still able to read them, and ensure that if you do have some hand-me-downs, if you've inherited some clothing from somebody very kind, then just make sure that you've got your new label on that with your child's name, so it goes to the right place. We'd suggest labelling literally everything, so lunch boxes, snack boxes, outdoor clothing, t-shirts, socks, the whole shebang. It really makes returning items home a lot easier. We've already had a couple of missing items and we kind of want to make sure that we don't have too many throughout the year. So there's several different ways that we learn in Primary 1-2. We learn through active learning, through outdoor learning, through using technology, through employability skills, through lots of creativity, and most importantly, through play. We hope that at some points during the year, you'll be able to come in and see our learning in Primary 1-2, because we'd love to have you in the classroom when we can. So how does literacy work in Primary 1-2? Let's have a look. We build on a lot of work from Primary 1. So initially your child was developing phonological awareness. In Primary 2, we're still supporting children to listen and stay on task, recognise and generate rhyme, identify syllables and be able to break down words into beats. So we will be continuing with our Literacy Rich programme, and before moving forward to the Primary 2 programme, we will ensure your child can recognise and share all the letter sounds, segment and blend 3-letter words, use their knowledge of diagraphs like sh and a to begin to read and segment some words, read simple words containing final and initial blends, and recognise some common words. If children need revision and consolidation on these areas, we will focus on this before moving on to our Primary 2 programme. We will be using cursive writing and precursive initially to make sure that your child is using the correct formation when forming their letters. So what does a phonics session look like? It's group teaching time, so your children will come out in small groups to do their phonics input. Their phonics input will be specific to the group that they're in, where they need to be and what they need to be learning. We start with a sound bag, we use some flashcards, we have a big book to read that includes our sound, and then we use actions to reinforce the sound that we use each time that we make the sound. We have one direct teaching activity at group table and 2 challenge tasks, differentiated depending on the stage of learning per week. We will have Donna to support Primary 1-2 in learning their phonics this year. We're going to use a technique from Primary 1 to help us with our spelling this year. It's called Eyes for Reading and Fingers for Spelling. Children can learn to spell using their fingers. Children hold up their fingers and look at them before starting to spell. Using their helping hand for fingers and their writing hand to pinch their fingers, they make sure that they are pinching in the right direction. So if we were going to sound out the word sheep and spell the word sheep, we would pinch our fingers every time we made a sound. Sh, e, p, knowing there are 3 sounds in sheep to spell it. Sh, e, p. We'll be practicing the sounds we learn at school at home too. You can practice them every day in very short bursts if your child is keen to do so. We love to recommend reading for enjoyment at home. We think it's a great way to encourage reading both at school and at home. To see if the book is a good challenge for your child, to make sure it's at the right level, we suggest the 5-finger test. So open a book your child is keen to read at any page, hold up a fist on one hand. Begin reading your page and put up a finger each time you stumble over a word you don't know. See how many fingers you're holding up at the end, and it will tell you how challenging the book is for you. So we've got 1 is an easy read, 2 is just right, 3 is a good challenge, 4 is a little bit tricky, and 5 is a difficult read. We're going to be learning some reading comprehension skills this year too, through the help of some helpful animals, the predicting panda, the retelling rhino, and the wandering walrus, that will help us pick up the reading comprehension skills we need as we go up through the school. We will also be using lots of different writing schemes to help us along our way too. Talk for writing is one we really enjoy in Primary 1 and Primary 2. So if a child can't say it, they'll never write it. So talking is a really important part of the story writing process. So we have an active approach of story mapping to map the story before we start, scribing, so helping support children share their ideas of writing, supporting the spelling of words and enjoying that independent writing as well. We'll have a big writing assessment as well during the year where we get to see what the child is able to do on their own. And how about maths and numeracy? How's that going to look in our classroom? We're going to be using the SEAL numeracy scheme, which stands for Stages of Early Arithmetic Learning. It's what we started in Primary 1 and will continue to work on in Primary 2. It aims to develop children's knowledge of numeracy through a variety of different strategies. It starts with visual and concrete items that children can see and touch. We ask the children to share the strategies they are using, so there's a lot of verbalizing of what we're thinking and how we're doing what we're doing, and allows them to learn other strategies by listening to what other children are doing in their number processes as well. And it helps us teachers check for understanding too. So in a lesson, we're going to have some whole class introduction, so a whole class number activity, and then differentiated groups, so we'll receive targeted input in small groups with a teacher or PSA. We'll have a challenge task, we're not working with a teacher, and a group plenary where we summarise our learning at the end. In Primary 1-2, we will have different kinds of instruction for our different levels as well. So here's an example. 7 plus 8. We're not just looking for the answer, we want to see how the child gets it. So if the answer is it 15, we want to know how they got to that number. Maybe they started from 7 and counted up, Maybe they started from 1. Maybe they thought 7 and 3 is 10 and 5 more is 15, so they split the 8. Maybe they thought double 7 is 14, so the answer is 1 more than that, so it's 15. We know less from an answer like, I know it, it's 15. We want to know how they got there. If they've just learned it as a number fact though, we can understand that too. So here's some ways that the child might answer that question. Concrete items using cubes and counters, like we saw from the examples, counting on from 1, counting on from 7, using the jump strategy, the double strategy. SEAL aims to gradually introduce children to strategies they can use to select and solve problems. It gives them a big tool belt of what to use during maths and numeracy, where they can solve different problems in different ways. So there's different levels we work at in SEAL. We start with emergent, where children focus on numbers to 20. We learn the number words and recognise numerals to 20, and we begin to associate number words with a number of items. We help children say forward and backward number word sequences, and we show children how to sequence and order numbers. We introduce children to different ways of representing number in patterns, spatial patterns, clapping patterns, and we encourage children to share their strategies. Then we move on to the perceptual child, adding 2 collections, describing spatial patterns, helping to share items and take away on our fingers. In figurative, we count and represent items up to 100. We add 2 unseen and covered collections. We begin to solve more sophisticated problems, and we encourage adding 2 collections in different ways, introducing our counting on strategies. When we're counting on, we begin to share forward and backward counting in number sequences, 2s, 10s, 5s, 3s and 4s. We sequence, recognise and identify 3-digit numbers. We learn to add and subtract by 10s and 1s, and we add and subtract to and from decade numbers. We learn commutativity of addition, so 1 plus 5 equals 6, therefore 5 plus 1 equals 6. We develop multiplication and division strategies, and still we provide opportunities to talk and share about their strategies, all the different areas of maths. In the next stage, we begin to share forward and backward number sequences, 10s and 100s and off the decade, develop counting-based strategies for 2-digit addition and subtraction, and develop 2-digit addition through visible and screen collections. We will base your child on the level that they need, and we'll work to progress them at the pace that they need to. It's all very bespoke learning for our learners at the pace that they need. Here's some examples of things that we'll do in our SEAL. So we'll use finger patterns, dice patterns and domino patterns, 10 frames, bundling sticks, arithmetic racks, dot cards, arrays, Numicom. We really promote active learning. It's a program that provides lots of opportunity for active learning and children really enjoy it. Hands-on activities and games that they can enjoy, and we aim to make numeracy learning as fun and as engaging as.
Here I'd like to talk to you about health and well-being and how we're going to approach that in primary 1-2. It's a central and very important aspect of our learning, especially in the current situation. Our aim is to help children feel safe, healthy, achieve, be nurtured, active, respected, responsible, and included. We use a scheme called Building Resilience, which helps to develop a toolkit for children so that they can be resilient in challenging times. This is Skipper, our man here with the toolbox. He goes through the tools in different terms so that we can build on these tools over a 3-year program. The tools that we will meet is keeping connected, respecting yourself, challenging your mindset, taking a moment, talking things over, getting active, making a difference, looking on the bright side, being kind to others, and having a goal. There's been one other tool added to Skipper's toolkit over the recent months, and that's expecting the unexpected. To support our health and well-being, We'll be engaging in physical education twice a week and spending lots of time outdoors. In PE, we are learning to move our bodies well, exploring how to manage and control them, and finding out how to use and share space. Here's a little example of a game that we've been using so far. It's our bean game. I wonder if you can ask your child and see if they could tell you a little bit about the different types of beans we do in our class warm-up. When we come into term 3, in our health and well-being work, we'll be looking at relationships, sexual health and parenthood. This runs throughout the entirety of our school. We'll be looking at positive relationships and learning about our bodies in primary 2. We'll explore this through being a friend, kindness and empathy, and what to do when friends fall out. We'll also have the chance to learn more about our bodies and keep ourselves safe by learning the names of different parts of the body. Thank you for taking the time to watch this Meet the Teacher presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Just send in a wee email or get me to give you a wee phone at the end of the day. Equally, it would be great if you could follow me on Twitter. I've already posted a couple of things that we've been getting up to in primary 1-2, and it would be lovely for you to see what's going on throughout the year on that platform. Well, that's it from me. Talk to you soon. Bye.